morning, church. Happy Saturday today. We invite you to stand and sing with us our first song, Let It Rise.
Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the glory of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises of our King rise among us, let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the songs of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of our King rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Oh, let it rise. Oh, let it rise.
We invite you to stay standing as we sing this little throwback. What a friend we have in Jesus.
What a friend we have in Jesus. All our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. Oh, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. When we find a friend so faithful, who will load our sorrow share. Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden, covered with a load of care? Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do thy friends despise, forsake thee? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In His arms He'll take and shield thee. Thou wilt find a solace there. In His arms He'll take and shield thee. Thou wilt find a solace there.
Good morning, church. I'm Ali, and this is Caleb, and we're your hosts for this morning. We just want to welcome everyone here. Thanks for coming. Welcome especially the first-time guests. I hope you really get something out of today and feel really welcomed. Now, Caleb, we have a bit of a special service on this morning. Can you tell us what it's all about?
Yeah, we do, Ali. So today's church service is actually being run by the dorms at Avondale here. That's it. For those of you that don't know, the dorms here at Avondale is the place where people come from all over Australia, New Zealand, or around the world, and they come and study. And we have girls' dorms, we have Ella Boyd, and then we have Watson Hall as well. Now, dorms have been a very important part of college pretty much since the beginning, and we've had a lot of generations come through. And so we thought it'd be really awesome this morning if we could invite up two people that are ex-members of the dorms here at college. So the two people that we've spoken to, can we have them come up, please? Everyone give a round of applause for them as they come up. So for those of you that don't know, we have Ray Rowenfeld here, our college president, and
We have Danny Masters. And these were both ex-dorm students. So Ray... Not the same dorm, yeah, no. Ray, what years were you at college in dorms?
From 1970 through to 1973.
And then what year were you in dorms, Danny?
1999 and 2000.
So we've got two different generations here, and we just want to ask you a couple questions to find out a bit more about your dorm experience over the different generations. So what was your favourite memory in dorms?
I think just making friends with people, that's my favourite memory. Back in those days, we had a roommate. So you were in Watson Hall, you were either in a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. Some of these people have become really top friends throughout my life. One of them, at least, I invited to be in my wedding party. That's how important some of those friendships were.
I'm actually going to say the same. Best times are being with the girls in dorms. I did Andre and Ella making popcorn at midnight for fun. Just having fun with the girls was the best.
Okay, so our second question for you is, at college over the years there has been somewhat of a culture of there being some pranks being pulled on people. So we'd like to ask you guys, what was the best prank that either you were a part of or that you witnessed during your time at college?
For me, I'm pretty sure they put a cow in our dorms, yeah? Yeah, they put a cow in the foyer. In Andre, made a huge mess, but it was fun. Actually, we didn't do it, the boys did it to the girls.
Yeah, I was a pretty quiet sort of individual, and that's the truth. But birthdays were a time when people came and collected you from your bed, and probably with the cooperation of your roommate, and dragged you off to throw you into the swimming pool. And that's what happened to me on one of my birthdays. But they didn't actually, I'm still a little proud of this, they didn't actually get me into the pool because I struggled so much that by the time we got over near the cafeteria, they were worn out with my struggling. I was too, but they didn't get me in the pool.
Were there any crazy rules that you guys had back when you were at college that we don't have now?
Yes, there were. You could not, when I first started in the dorms, you could not, around college, you could not hold hands with your girlfriend. And yet this was supposed to be the place where you actually met your life partner. So fairly artificial sort of thing. And I can still remember the then president of the college seeing a couple holding their little fingers together like this and with his umbrella, he smote between the two. And I'm sure almost dislocated the finger. The other one was there were boys' weekends and girls' weekends, and so you could leave college. If you applied for a weekend away, you could leave college on a boys' weekend, but not on a girls' weekend. So, and no cars. You weren't allowed a car. Fortunately, you were allowed a bike, and you could hitchhike as well.
Hey, I'd like to see you maybe get an umbrella and just put it down between a couple at Avondale now, holding hands. That'd be wild. What about you, Danny?
Okay, so you guys will be in shock, but we didn't actually have open dorms do you have it all the time or just on the weekends? So we didn't have open dorms every weekend. It was a once a month. It was something that was very organised and controlled. So I think...
What are these open dorms? I'm going to close those off as quickly as possible.
And we all made sure we cleaned our rooms before everybody came. So.
Right, and one final question that we have, obviously we have a lot of young people here in dorms, and we think it'd be really awesome if it kind of came full circle, and if you guys could give us your best advice to all of us current students here of how to make the absolute best memories and how to make the most of our time here in dorms at college.
All right, for me is get involved, hey? Get involved with what's happening in church and what's happening in your dorms itself. But the most important is be aware of your divine friendships. And when I mean divine friendships, I mean there are people amongst you that God has placed amongst you to learn from, to grow spiritually with. I can't emphasize that the most, because for me, I had so many of those girls in my life show me Jesus in so many different ways, and to have a relationship with God. And they are my friends still to this day, the same as Ray. I've had some in my wedding party, but don't be aware of your divine relationships and friendships.
And my advice is really value the fact that you can live in the dorm. I know that some people think it's expensive to do that. I actually don't think that. I'm trying to persuade Carmel, my wife, to move into the dorm, because I think it would actually be cheaper for us as a family to be living in the dorm. So that's one thing that you could perhaps keep in mind. But yeah, if you're single and you want to experience Avondale College at its best, come and live in the dorm. Our son didn't actually want to come back to college, but when he did, I said to him, if you're going to come to Avondale, and he was single at that time, I said, live in the dorm, because that's where you really experience what Avondale is about. And I think that was the case back then, and it's the case now. Look at all these people here. Great dorm people. Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. You can have a seat. Can we give it up for these guys? I'm sure Ella would love to have Mrs. Roenfeld living in our wing. That would be fun, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, open dorms, Ray, you're welcome to come over. All the boys will have you over, we'll have a good party. Carney's room, by the way, always everyone's there. Now, Ali, these people have shared their experience of what dorms was like, and obviously there's always a new season that comes through dorms almost every year. And I just want to ask, what would your definition of dorms be?
I think, for me, my experience in dorms has been really good. It's girls' dorms especially, is just, we've got a good community there. You get to meet some really good friends. We have worships together, so it's a really great place to grow spiritually, and study together and sleeping across the hall from each other. It's really close. What about you, Caleb?
I'd say boys' dorms, it's always a fun experience. There's a lot of people that are always playing video games or watching movies, hanging out, going on some Macca's runs, and sometimes study happens as well. And also, there's actually been a new thing going on this semester. I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, but Josh Carney is actually pretty massive from going to the gym. And we have a thing going on where every day someone challenges him to a wrestle. So we're currently at 50 days in a row of no one beating Josh Carney. So after church, if anyone wants to challenge him, throughout this week, we have wrestling with Josh Carney every afternoon. Anyway, on a different note, so Ali, what you shared with your dorm experience it is also pretty similar in boys' dorms, all jokes aside. And it also kind of goes along with our tag and our purpose for dorms. And do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, so our purpose for dorms, our mission statement this year is, in our house, we encourage intentional growth within ourselves, our community, and our God. My house, our house, God's house. So yeah, I really feel that that's true. So thanks for having us today, guys. We've got a really good service ahead for you guys. We've got Toby and Liv are going to preach today, 2 of our dorm students. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy it.
All right, we'll catch you guys later. Enjoy the service.
Yo, sweet. We've got a few more songs to sing with you today, so we invite you to stand up and sing a few more throwbacks.
The blood that Jesus shed for me, way back on Calvary, the blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. It reaches to the highest mountain, it flows to the lowest valley. The blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. It soothes my doubts and calms my fears, and it dries all my tears. The blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. It reaches to the highest mountains, it flows to the lowest valley. The blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose its power. It reaches to the highest mountain, it flows to the lowest valley. The blood that gives me strength from day to day, it will never lose, it will never lose, it will never lose its power.
This next song that we're singing is Worthy is the Lamb. And it's another throwback. And the reason why we want to do a whole bunch of throwbacks is it's our way of saying thank you to our college community. You know, every week we sing songs that our generation loves, but today we want to sing some songs that your generations love. And so it's our way to give back to you. So please sing with us today.
Thank you for the cross, Lord. Thank you for the price you paid, bearing all my sin and shame. In love you came,
church. Oh, let's try that again. Good morning, church. Thank you. Today's offering is for Feed the House. So this offering goes to help a lot of college students in many ways. For example, providing breakfast for us on a Saturday morning and providing also the coffee machine out there to keep us all awake. But it also goes towards keeping all the college students connected and by supporting the life groups. So today, there are many ways to give. You can either give through the offering bags that will be passed around shortly, or by the e-giving app, or at the website at collegechurch.info. Please don't feel obliged to give, but all the money that is given is greatly appreciated by College Church. So I'd just like to now invite all the volunteers to come forward and collect the offering. If you'd like to just bow your heads with me as we pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you that it's Sabbath and that we can come and rest in your presence, God. I just want to pray a special blessing over the offering. I pray that you'll use it to do your work. And God, we just pray over everyone who's sick at the moment. I know a lot of people in dorms are quite unwell. So I just pray a special blessing over them and for healing for them, God. I just pray that the rest of the service will run smoothly and that you will bless everyone involved and every head bowed here this morning. I pray now in your name. Amen.
Hi everyone, my name is Azoro Fangalilo and I'm the lead visionary for Watson Hall. I'm also an RA here at Watson Hall in our residential halls and the life group coordinator here at College Church. And this year, we have more than half of the life groups actually being student-led groups, which is awesome. And it's just a demonstration of how serious and intentional we are about being a hero-making movement here on campus. So here, take a look at some of the leaders and the things that they have to share about their groups.
My name is Hayley Chapman and I run the Cleanup Crew Life Group at College Church.
My name is Caleb Pelagoski. I'm a fourth year theology student and I run a ballroom dancing life group.
Hi, my name's Giovanna and I lead the cooking life group called Delish.
My name's Toby. My life group's a boxing life group where we focus really on fitness but also some really key boxing techniques.
I wanted to run the Cleanup Crew Life Group because I noticed there was a lot of rubbish in our area and I thought starting a Cleanup Crew Life Group would be a fun way to clean up our environment together.
Last semester I felt impressed to run a life group and I thought what I would want to do, and I love cooking and I felt that I should share my talents with whoever wanted to learn
get here once a week on a Thursday night between 5 and 6. And what we do is we learn different dances, and we're planning on going out on some field trips to some competitions and stuff. And we kind of get here, we laugh, we have fun, we dance on each other's feet, and then at the end we have a good chat.
I wanted to run a life group because Azora asked me and I felt bad.
Life group's super important because it's bringing together a whole lot of people into a community where we can rely on each other, we can learn and grow with each other, but really it's just about doing life with each other. And the boxing is really just an excuse to bring people together to talk about what's up, how their week's been, and really to get behind something that everyone's passionate about.
Oh, for anyone who wants to run a life group, you don't have to feel like you're capable of running the best Bible studies, or that you think that you're old enough or mature enough, or that you think that you're too old. I would say that anyone who wants to run a life group, I say just simply find one thing that you've been doing for a while, or a hobby that you like. And that could be drawing or painting or riding bikes, or just going out for runs, or even just playing video games. I would say get that thing and then get some friends and people, because there are so many people in the church and the community who would love to join you with that and just do life together with the thing that you love doing.
I think it's a great way to bring dorm students and outdoor people together to do things that we're passionate about and enjoy doing.
If you're thinking about joining or even running a life group, I suggest you do it because you won't regret it. And you really do meet people that you would never think that you would even talk to, I guess. So it's a lot of fun. You get to create friendships and build those relationships with people.
So as you can see, our residential hall community are serious, intentional about hero making and building disciples in our community. So I encourage us all to take hero making seriously, to be intentional about it in your home, at your workplace, in your school, or in your community. As we have taken this step forward to change the game here in our church, I invite you to do the same thing too.
Hello? Oh, there we go. That's better. Good morning, everyone. My name is Laurel, and this is Kyra. And we're going to be running the children's story today. So can I get all the kids to come and sit up the front? Don't be shy. It's going to be a lot of fun today. We've got some creative things happening over here, which will be great. Thanks, girls. So, all the kids, come on guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. Just come and sit somewhere down the front. How is everyone going today? That's good. I can hear some goods, which is excellent. Awesome. So keep coming down. And while you're coming down, I'm just going to explain something to you. So today, we're going to be talking about houses, okay? And I've got 2 volunteers, so if you can stand up, girls. Sorry, I've already chosen them this morning. I'm sorry. So I've got two girls here. Can you tell everyone your names, girls?
Scylla.
So we've got Scylla.
Scout.
And Scout. And they're actually sisters. And Kyra's going to give them a couple of things, and they're going to draw something that is their favourite thing in their house. And so they've chosen something, and they're going to draw it this morning for us. So while they're doing that, I'm just going to be telling you a little story. But first of all, and this is where all you guys come into play, I can get some more volunteers, and I'm going to ask you all a question. So have a think about this. What's your favourite thing that's in your house? What's your favourite thing that's in your house? Does anyone have any ideas? And they can put their hands up. Yeah?
My teddy bear.
Oh, your teddy bear. That's excellent. I like teddy bears too. What's your favourite thing?
I like my bedroom where I can just cuddle up and enjoy.
Your bedroom where you can cuddle up and enjoy. Put your hands up in the audience if that's your favourite thing as well. Yeah, lots of people. You have 2. Excellent. Is there anyone else that wants to share their favourite thing in their house?
One of my favorite things are the Bible.
The Bible. Awesome. Good job. Yeah. Well done. So we've got a few different favorite things in our house. And so what I'm going to do is share one of my favorite things that is in my room at college. So I live here at college now. So I've sort of moved out of home. So sometimes I go back home and sometimes I live here. And my favorite thing in my room here is my teapot. So this is probably one of my favorite things in my room because I think it looks pretty cool. Can you guys all see that? Yeah? Put your hands up if you sometimes play tea parties with your brother or your sister or maybe just with you, yeah? Or one person. That's what I used to do when I was little with my sister. And now I actually have one that I can actually use, so I think it's pretty cool. So that's my favorite thing, and I've heard some of your favorite things, and the girls up here are drawing something which is great. Oh, it's looking very, very good. And we'll show that to you after. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about something that we say at college, and what we say here for this year, a bit of a theme, is my house, our house, and God's house. So that means that we live in the house, we live with other people in the house, in a community, and it's also God's house too, okay? So I want you to have a think about, and I'll ask you this question, what are some things that you could do in your house to make sure that God feels welcomed in your house? So have a think about that. If you can't think of anything, I'll tell you some things that we do at college, but how could we make God feel welcome in our homes?
Let them have a seat.
Let God have a seat. That's an excellent idea. Let him have a seat in your house. Excellent. That's a wonderful idea.
Give them a drink of water or food when they're hungry.
Yeah, so maybe doing things that God would like us to do for other people. So welcoming other people into your house and giving them food and water when they're hungry. That's what God would like us to do, wouldn't he? Yeah, what about you?
Clean up the house.
Clean up the house, yeah, so maybe helping your parents out and that sort of thing. So there's lots of things that we can do in our house to make God feel welcomed. And some of the things that we do at college, or do you have another one?
Read the Bible.
Read the Bible, that is excellent. And that's something that I was just going to say as well. So having a relationship with God, inviting him into your house, reading what he would like you to do in the Bible, and just like some other people have mentioned, we can make sure that we're kind to other people in our house, help clean up the house for our parents. Maybe they would like us to tidy up the house. So there's lots of things we can do. Some other things are pray to God, make sure we talk to him. So there's those sort of things. So reading the Bible, praying, being kind to maybe our brothers or our sisters and our parents and that sort of thing. So some of the things that we like to do in dorms is to make other people feel welcomed as well, because we know that's what God likes us to do. So it looks like our drawing over here is going pretty well. So you can keep working on it for a little bit. Can I have one of you to say what you have been drawing?
An EJ12 book.
Oh, an EJ12 book. Now, that looks pretty cool. Can you step aside, girls, and we can have a look? Everyone give our two little artists a round of applause here. They've done pretty well, I think. Yeah. You've done an excellent job, girls. So I'm just going to ask you another question. Why is that your favourite thing?
It's cool.
It's cool. I think that's a pretty good reason to have a favourite thing, something that's cool. So thank you very much for listening today, and I hope that you guys can remember to do some of those things in your houses as well. So to remember to keep God in your house and welcoming him by praying, by reading the Bible and doing what he would like to do to others around us in your community, in your house. So thank you very much, guys, for coming, and thank you to our two artists, and you guys can all go back to your seats now. Thank you for listening.
Like, fill it in the toilet and make
morning, church family. Happy Sabbath. It's so good to see the church more full than we had it at the start. I was like, oh, yikes, everyone's heard it's the res and they don't want to come. But I'm glad that it's filled up more, so I'm so happy to see you all here, whether you've been here for ages or it's your first time. Welcome. Some of you are probably looking at this face, thinking, who is that? My name is Olivia, or some people call me Liv Murray to distinguish me from the other 12 Olivias that were born in 1998. So either one is fine with me. I'm a third-year student here at Avondale College, or Avondale University College now, as of recently. And I'm studying secondary teaching. And it's an absolute honor and a privilege to speak here as a resident of Ella Boyd. Awesome. So, every year, the dorms have a vision statement and a verse that encompasses our spiritual theme for the year. And this year, you might have heard it a couple times, but I'm gonna whack it on the screen. This is our vision statement for both dorms. It says, in our house, we encourage intentional growth within ourselves, our community, and our God. And we also have a theme verse, which I'll ask to get whacked up there as well. It's found from Joshua chapter 24, verse 15. It says, as for me and my household, we shall serve the Lord. And so, across both dormitories, we've had this real our house, God's house kind of vibe, as you've probably picked up, and it's been really awesome. But when I was looking at the context of this verse, I discovered some really cool things, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. So, if you all want to join in, you can open up your Bibles or open up your phones. If you have these white Bibles, we're going to go to Joshua 24, which is on page 199. We're just going to dive into this text, swim around a little bit, should be good. So Joshua 24, for those of you who might have missed it again, 24. I'm going to jump around a little bit with the verses and things, but it's all coming from this one chapter. I might not read directly, I may summarize and paraphrase along the way, but you can read along and fact check me as we go, so it should be good. All right, starting from verse 1, paraphrasing from Day Dot. So, Joshua has summoned all of the tribes of Israel together. He's got their leaders, their elders, the judges, heads of department, you name it, they were there. And Joshua gives them this message from God, and God is reminding the Israelites of all of the things that he has done for them. And he makes it clear that all of their victories are due to his power, not their own. And he starts listing things like, back in Egypt, remember how I protected you from the plagues that I sent upon the Egyptians. And he says, remember when I led you through the wilderness and I gave you bread from the sky and I gave you water out of a rock. Remember when I led you to the promised land and I gave you victory over the Amorites. And God is just reminding them all, remember that was me. I gave you all of those good things. And then Joshua, I'm going to read this directly from the Bible. In verse 15, after relaying this message from God, Joshua says to the Israelites, but if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today whom you will serve. Would you prefer the gods of your ancestors served way beyond the Euphrates? Or will it be the gods of the Amorites in whose land you now live? But as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord. And as you probably can tell, the second half of that is where our theme verse comes from. So Joshua is asking the Israelites, who are you going to serve? And you have to choose today, because you can't just sit on the fence all the time. And the Israelites reply further down in verse 16 to 18. They say, yes, we remember all these amazing things that God did for us, and we want to serve God. Joshua says, are you sure? Because don't forget about all those 80 years out in the wilderness where you're going back and forth, complaining, and then loving Jesus again and complaining. But the Israelites say, no, this is what we really want. We really want to serve the Lord. And so Joshua says, okay. And he makes a covenant with the people, with the community of the Israelites, with them and God. And just for those of you who may not know, a covenant means like an agreement, a contract, like a pact or blood pact if you're really hardcore. And now don't misunderstand what's going on here. This covenant does not mean that the relationship between the Israelites and God was going to be perfect. The covenant did not mean that they would never stumble again or that they would never mess up. The covenant meant that they were putting their commitment to God above the conditions that they were in. They were putting their covenant over their conditions with God. They were putting their relationship above the circumstances that they were in. This is actually kind of similar to the relationship I have with my family, and I hope you guys have a similar experience. You know, in my family, and as we all do, you know, we mess up, we make mistakes, we do things that hurt each other, even if maybe we don't mean to. But I know that our covenant of our family holds us together more than our choices or our conditions may in between. I know that the covenant of our family is stronger than the circumstances that we're in, it's stronger than the choices we might make that hurt each other. And I'm just so grateful to be part of a family like that, where I know that our covenant, our agreement is the strongest thing that we have, and so I don't need to worry if I mess up. I know they're still going to be there. But my question for today is, how do we get that kind of community? How do we get the sort of community where they put the covenant above the conditions? How do we get that in our church or in dorms, at school, in the workplace? How do we get to this? And I must admit, this idea I have is not 100% original, but I'm going to make a reference, so it's not plagiarism. My home church back in Perth, I'm from Perth, my home church back in Perth, Carmel Church, they have this vision statement or mission statement for the church this year that says, turn up, participate, connect. And I really love that. I think it's a great summary of what the church is meant to stand for. But as much as I love that, I also love alliteration, and anyone that knows me well knows I love a good linguistic time. So I'd like to ask, this is how I came across to my big idea for today, and I'd like to pop that up. This is it. So my big idea for today is we grow God's house when we come, contribute, and connect. And so this is the same sort of thing as Carmel Church, turn up, participate, connect, but alliteration's more fun, right? Surely. So let's just get into those steps. We're going to unpack them a little bit and say, all right, how do we actually go about this? So, step one, come. It means turn up. It means just showing up to places even if you don't particularly feel like it. I know this is often one of the hardest steps to overcome, especially when you're turning up somewhere for the first time. Growing up, I've moved around quite a lot with my family, across 4 different states. I've been to 5 different schools, so I have a bit of an idea of what it's like to be the new one, the oddball, the fish out of water, although I don't know if I fully grew out of that even when I've been there a while. But I do have an idea of what it's like to show up to something for the first time. It's kind of hard, and I think even as you get older, it gets harder to try and insert yourself in a friend group when they're already so well formed. Like when I was 5, you know, I'd show up to the playground, I'd see someone on the swing set, be like, they like swing sets, obviously. I like swing sets. They have great taste in playground equipment, I'm gonna make them my friend. And so I would, and it worked great. And, you know, I love the playground, I love all my preschool friends. But, you know, as I got older, moving schools in year 11, I thought, oh, you know, I don't know if this playground thing's really gonna hold me over to form some lasting relationships. So, my first day of year 11 is a new school. My dad is a teacher, so it's his first day as well. And we arrived to school super early. All you teachers' kids, you know what that is. So we arrived to school really early, and my dad said to me, hey, you can hang out in my office for the morning if you like, so you don't have to sit alone in the courtyard. I said, yep, thanks, Dad, sounds good. So I did. I hung out in his office for the morning and enjoyed the spinny chair for a while, and that was cool. But then as I was looking out the window and I could see students arriving and things, and I just thought, oh, I just gotta show up. I just gotta be amongst that. There's no chance of me making a new friend while sitting alone in the office. So I took a big boy breath and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so I went outside to the front and I just walked up to a group of kids that looked about my age, and they didn't hate it, so it was a win for me, I think. But yeah, you know, it's hard. It's hard to turn up sometimes. But if you want to be in a community, you have to come along. You have to turn up. Or if you want to be a real hero maker for somebody, invite someone to come along. Bring a friend to church. Bring a friend to your hangout at Macca's, whatever it may be. So step 1, let's come. Step 2, contribute. This means participate. Don't just be a fly on the wall. It might take a while to feel comfortable contributing in your community, whether it's church community or work community, whatever it may be. But it's honestly one of the most rewarding things is being able to contribute to something that you love. And that's exactly what Jesus calls us to do. He calls us to serve others. I know when I first started coming here to College Church in my first year, I really loved it. You know, I loved the music, I loved Nim and Alex and all of the special speakers in between. I just loved the feel, it was really cool. But I had a very walk-in, walk-out sort of church experience during my first year. And I still enjoyed it, but I never really felt like this is my church. I always felt like a visitor. But it wasn't until I started getting involved in things like music and first impressions and preaching somehow that now I feel like, yeah, this is my church, like, this is my community, and it's so rewarding to be able to contribute to something like this. It's really cool. So what I'm trying to say is if you don't put something into the community, you're not going to get much out of it. So contribute to your community, and it can be in so many different ways. It doesn't just have to be up the front or out in public. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that are taken for granted, but the service should not be. It's still super important. So we've got come, contribute, and finally step 3, connect. Now this is not so much a step in and of itself, it's kind of a result of the first 2 steps. When you come along and contribute to a community, you're bound to connect with others. It's kind of hard not to, actually. Some people, you may meet them and you'll just immediately click and it'll just be great. I know I had that kind of experience another time that I moved schools. I was in year 7 and I was moving to quite a small school. There's only 6 people in my grade, 4 boys and 2 girls, including myself. So I figured, well, me and this one other girl kind of have to get along. We don't really have a whole lot of other choices, sort of a friend by default situation. But when I met her in person, we honestly just clicked and we just had a good laugh and it was so fun. And she's still one of my closest friends to this day. So you will have those experiences where you just click with people and it's gonna be great. But there's some others where you're gonna have to actively find the common ground. Some people are kind of prickly and you have to sort of dodge and weave your way around their spines to find a sweet spot where you can connect to them. But that's sort of what community is all about, right? It's about finding the common ground even where it looks like there is none. And just a side note, that's the difference between a commune and a community. I know a lot of people, especially from the outside looking in, they see Avondale and they think, ooh, that's a commune, cult, no thank you, and keep walking down to Morisset. But I think the difference that makes us a community and less of a commune is exclusive, but a community is inclusive. So we need to really go out of our way to connect with others, you know, be intentional about having those important conversations and including people. So come, connect. So come, contribute, connect. That's our 3 steps. I just want to take this moment to affirm the Ella Boyd community and Avondale community as a whole. You guys do this really well already, and I've felt so welcome and so a part of this whole community. But especially to the girls from Ella Boyd, and for everyone else who's listening, these girls, you know, they're not just a sea of pretty faces who all love Kmart, although that is true, that's certainly true. But man, like, we've been having week of worship this week, and I've been hearing, well, we've all been hearing from different people every night, and oh man, these girls are wise, you know, these girls are intelligent, they're really strong and resilient people. Like, if you're looking for some wife material, I tell you what, these girls have got it, okay? So I just want to say thank you to the Ella community, especially for me. I mean, you guys are just such amazing people, and I've loved every moment I've had in Ella, and I seriously recommend to anyone thinking of coming along to Ella or Watson. I'm sure that's also wonderful. They're, brilliant place. Cannot highly recommend enough. And it's great to be part of this thriving community, and like I said, I love every part of it. But that's not all that Joshua 24 is trying to tell us. If you read further down in verse 28, it tells us that, Joshua's made the covenant with the Israelites, and then he sends them back to their homelands. So this covenant was not meant to be exclusive. It was not just for the VIPs, the judges, and the elders, and the heads of department. It's meant to be an inclusive kind of covenant. So Joshua sent the Israelites back to their hometowns to bring this new covenant to all of their home communities. And in the same way, we need to bring this community and spread it out wherever we go. I think for quite a few of us who aren't local Currumbong kids and we go home during the break, there's, you go back to your home church and you're like, oh, not always, but I know that there's some people that definitely, really thrive here at College Church, and they go home and they think, oh, this is a bit lacking. Maybe you could be that influence that creates the culture of community where you are. Or not even just in churches, some of you might feel like your workplace is really just disconnected and, you hate going there. Maybe you could be the one that forms the change, the new culture of like, hey, we don't just sit in the same office together. We actually, we come and contribute to each other's lives and connect and things like that. So your influence may be more powerful than you realize. Even further down in verse 31 of chapter 24, it says that as long as Joshua lived, the people of Israel served God. And that doesn't just mean the VIP people that were at the special meeting. It means all of Israel. So Joshua's influence extended far beyond people that he would have met. It went so far across the whole nation. And I encourage you to just think about how, powerful your influence could be if you choose to listen to God and to serve Him. And so I just want to leave you with that encouragement, choose today who you're going to serve. Because as for us and our house at Ella Boyd, we're going to serve the Lord.
Yo, College Church, how are you all doing? Happy Sabbath. Liv, that was awesome. That was so awesome to hear that we have this concept, right? We have my house, our house, God's house. And we're really pushing this narrative in dorms. And to hear your context and your experiences and its original context from in the Bible, that was really awesome. That was really, really cool. And I'm happy to share with you my experience or what I've pulled out of this theme verse that we have. If we could just get it on the slide. We have these 6 words. We have my house, our house, God's house. And these words are they're so important. They're so inspirational and they're so profound that they're definitely worth unpacking. So we're going to unpack the first 2 words right now. Okay, my house. What is my house? What does that mean? Well, see, my house is every single aspect of your life. That is what my house means. Well, my house is every aspect of my life. Your house is every aspect of your lives. Okay, so my house is everything in my life. That could be my job, my money, what I do with my spare time, the kind of video games I play, the movies I watch, the music I listen to, who I talk to, all of that. Every aspect of your life comes under your house. Okay, my house is everything in my life. If that is a simple enough concept for you guys to understand, can I hear an amen? All right, cool. So I know you guys are listening. That's good. That's good. So our next 2 words is our house. Now, what is our house? Quite simply, our house is the community in which we are in. Now, we heard Liv touch on this a bit earlier, but our house is the community in which we are in. So take myself, for example. While I'm studying here at college, I live in Watson Hall. I live with all the boys there, and together we're all doing this thing together. We're all struggling through life together. We're all persevering through our studies together. We're all figuring out our way through life together. And that is our house. That is the community in which we're in. When I'm not studying, however, my family and I, we live in Sydney. And so that is our house. I'm living with my family and I'm directly influenced by them. And they're directly influenced by me as well. See, that community that we're in, that's our house. Now, I don't want you to get confused. It's not the building, it's not the bricks and the mortar, it's the community, it's the people that you're in community with. Right now, we're in our house. See, I'm doing this thing up here, we're all doing this thing together. I'm talking to you, you're hopefully listening, and if you're not, you're talking to the person next to you and they're listening to you, or maybe you're checking out the person a few seats in front of you. We're all doing this thing together here in our house, in our community. That is our house, our community. If that is a simple enough concept for you to understand, can I hear an amen? Awesome, good. We're going to come back to this, so I hope you're listening. Our last two words in the 6 words that we're looking at is God's house. Now, this surely is the most important house that we'll be looking at. Now, when I went to look at this, I kind of took a really, really literal view on this. And I thought, God's house. God lives in heaven, right? Surely heaven is God's house. And you know, it's so cool because we actually have access to God's house. We can look exactly what it looks like. We can see exactly what it entails for us. So if you all turn, or if you want to, you don't actually have to. I'm going to be reading from, and I'm going to be skipping through a whole lot of stuff. So if you want to turn to Revelation 4, I'm going to be skimming through that real quick. So if we want to know what God's house looks like, here's what it looks like. This is God's house. And I saw a throne in heaven and someone sitting on it. The one sitting on the throne was as brilliant as gemstones, like jasper and carnelian. And the glow of an emerald encircled his throne like a rainbow. Church, I don't think we do the beauty and the splendor and the magnificence of God and his house justice. Like, we have such access to revelation that we almost take it for granted. You know, it's literally explaining, it's trying to describe, it doesn't even have the words to describe, but it's trying to describe just the air, the aura, or like the space that's just around God. It describes it as an emerald rainbow. I can't even conceptualize that or try and visualize that, but that sounds so beautiful, and that's just the space next to God. So in this beautiful space, what else is there in God's house? Well, we have 24 thrones surrounded him and 24 elders sat on them. That's weird. So we've got God at the center, and we have the 24 elders sitting on their thrones, all kind of encircling God. What else is there? They're not alone. See, in the center and around the throne, there were 4 living beings. And it goes on to explain, if you're familiar with Revelation 4, you know that it goes into great detail trying to explain these beasts. See, one of them is like a lion. Another one's as strong as an ox. One of them has a human face. And the other's like an eagle in flight. See, these are beasts, and they're explained as though they're beasts of purpose. They're beasts that are really important. And what are these really important, these specific beasts doing? Well, if we have a look, it says that day after day and night after night, they keep on saying, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God, the Almighty, the one who was, the one who is, and who is still to come." Now, this is my kind of artistic skills. It's not going to do the beauty of heaven justice, but you can see how everything's located, right? You can see how everything's situated. You see, we've got that giant circle in the middle, that's God. He's at the center. Those squares, they represent the beasts, okay? They're bowing, worshiping, they're fixated on God, and we have the 24 elders all around him. They're the little circles. Everything is pointing and facing towards God. This is literally a picture of God's house. But what's super cool is it's not just a picture of God's house. You see, church, I also think that this is actually a template for the most ideal version, the most desirable version for my house. You see, if we take these circles and these squares, they no longer represent the elders and the beasts, okay? If you remember what my house means, my house is every aspect of my life. So each of these circles and these squares, they now represent every aspect of my life. And church, what's super important, what we super need to keep in mind is that we need to focus every aspect of our life pointing towards God and keeping God right at the center. Now that's way easier said than done. See, I can find the worship in many things. When I say find the worship, I mean I can really see how what I'm doing is pointing towards God. I can see how God is magnificent in the thing that I'm doing. I'm using what I'm doing to praise Him. See, I can find the worship in singing my heart out in church. I can find the worship in praying and communicating with my God Creator. I can find the worship in reading my Bible, but maybe some of you students can understand, but can I find the worship in my studies? How can I find the worship in my studies? Maybe you guys are a bit past studying now and maybe you've forgotten what that's like, but maybe there's someone in your life. Now you wouldn't say you hate them because hate's a strong word, right? And we'd never say that. And Christians, we could never hate anyone, right? But there's someone that sprang to your mind and they consume a part of your day. They consume seconds, even minutes of your day, thinking about them, wondering how you're going to interact with them throughout the day. They're consuming precious brain power, precious knowledge. And you're not wasting, but you're consuming a lot of time on them. They're an aspect of your life. They're a segmentation of your life. They are a part of your house. Where is the worship in that part of your life? Can you find the worship in that part of your life? Now that's really hard, but if you go into it mindfully and you think that you're deliberately going to enter each aspect of your life to seek and to find the worship, you will find it. If you try and realign all the furniture in your house, realign every aspect of your life to point towards God and to focus on Him and to worship Him day after day and night after night, you will find out how to do that. You'll find a way to do that. See, but not only is this an awesome template for my house, it's actually an awesome template for our house. If you remember, and you all said amen, so I know that you remember, our house represents our community. Our house is me. Our house is you. You. Maybe you're sitting next to a circle up there. I'm one of those circles. Maybe you're sitting next to a bit of a square. But you're sitting next to someone, right? And we're all in community together. We're all doing this thing together. And the most desirable version of our house, the most desirable version of our community is when I've got my house in order. Someone else has their house in order. Your brothers, your sisters have their house in order. Everything's pointing towards God, worshiping Him, and we all come together and we all come together and do it together. We all come and worship God and we put Him at the center together. Not focusing on their house. Not focusing on their house, because when you look through your lens, their furniture is not going to be aligned quite how you'd like it to be. All right? You got to focus on God, and that's it, and make sure everything in your house is aligned, pointing towards Him. You see, these are the most desirable versions of my house and God's house. You see, we have literally taken God's house and emulated it into my house, emulated it into our house. We've taken the image of heaven given to us straight from the Bible. We've taken the image of heaven and we've applied it to my life and we've applied it to our communities. And boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, church, this brings us to our big idea. And that is that God at the center literally is heaven right here on earth. That's exactly what it is. We're all doing this thing together. We're all at church. Why are we here? Why are we all Christians? Why are we all Adventists? All right, we're all here. We're all doing this thing together because we want an everlasting relationship with our God. We want to be in heaven forever. We want to be in heaven in community with Him. But church, you can achieve that here. You can bring heaven down onto earth. The Bible shows us exactly how to do that and shows us exactly why. So what's holding you back? Thank you so much, church. That was my 2 cents. I'd really love to pray over you guys right now for the benediction just before our final song. So if you'd like to bow our heads, that'd be awesome. May the road to heaven rise to meet you. May the wind of God's Spirit be always at your back. May His love shine warm upon your face and the rains of His grace fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of His hand is my prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
I just want to thank Toby and Liv for the amazing way that God has just used them. I'm just so proud of our residential hall community. I know we're only young, but I see how each and every one of them can be game changers for God's church and how we can grow God's house together. I hope you're just as proud as I am of our residential community because they're a pretty good bunch and they're all right looking too, I reckon. Right now we have a tradition that we do every residential church service, where if you've lived in Watson Hall, if you've lived in Ella Boyd, if you've lived in Andre, we invite you now to come join us to sing our final song. Our final song is Psalm 23, and if you don't know the words, don't fret, we have it at the back there. But it's just an awesome way for those who have been there and done that to come join with the people that are doing it right now. So we invite you just to make your way down, no pressure, but it's just going to be an amazing way to finish off.
Lord is my shepherd. He goes before me. Defender behind me. I won't fear. I'm filled with anointing. My cup's overflowing. No weapon
I just invite you guys to stay up the front for the moment. And how good is it to see all these people in dorms here just as a community? And yeah, it really just reminds me about this whole like our house, God's house, and our community. And Caleb's just got a couple of announcements.
Yeah, so for any of you that are first-time guests here with us, or even if you just haven't been here in a while, we have some gifts that are going to be out the front at the desk. So please see our friendly volunteers after these announcements when you're leaving, and there'll be a gift there for you. And the second thing is, we have a newly elected president for the North New South Wales Conference. It's Pastor Adrian Rathel. Now, Pastor Adrian comes to us from the Sydney Conference, where he was the General Secretary, and also his wife Laurel is the Director of Student Administration Services here at college. So we just ask that together as a church family that we can all just keep Adrian, Laurel and their children in our prayers for the next season of their life that God has for them. We just want to thank you guys so much for being here, being a part of this program. It's really awesome to see that there's a lot of people here, both people that have been in dorms in the past, some of the older generations, and it's just really cool to see that it's all coming together and combining, and just seeing that, it all just kind of transcends there. I'm Caleb.
I'm Ali.
And we just want to thank you for being here. We'll catch you later.
See yous.